It is currently the 1st of August. We still have 24 days until the transfer window closes and a bunch of games in between now and then. We have Partizan coming up in the Champions League Path third qualifying round. How did we get there? Well, the first part was as easy as I thought it was. The second part was not, to be 100% honest with you. We played Doodle in the first part, and we absolutely trounced them 12-2 on aggregate. And we played St. Pat's Athletic from Ireland. Professional squad, they got some decent players. And the first game, we beat them 3-1. And the second game, it took us scoring in the 92nd minute to beat them 3-3, or to draw with them 3-3 rather. So even if I don't think we were in danger of losing the series, but losing the game would have been bad. Transfer window wise, I'm going to go back a season because Todorov we brought on in January. Boris Basevsky from Rabbit Nicky, I think I talked about him. 19 years old, striker, plays target man, also plays pressing forward and poacher. Physically, not too bad. I mean, he's solid across the board. The jumping reach of 16 paired with a heading of 14 is nice. Mentally, the concentration is a little bit on the low side. The positioning is a little bit on the low side. Everything else is fine. Technically, finishing is okay. First touch is nice. His heading, as I mentioned, is okay. Everything else is it's average, which for this level of football is not too bad. He's 6'4", 187 pounds. And in 2 games and 2 off the bench for us in the Champions League games, he has 3 goals and 2 assists already. So he's definitely filling in for us nicely. We paid 1.4 million going to 1.5 based on appearances. Then Zdravko Spasov from Balasica. He was their first choice keeper last year. Wanted to move to a bigger squad. Was okay taking a backup contract, 2.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential ability. If we compare him to Grosdanowski, Grosdanowski's definitely the better keeper, but Spasov is a more than adequate backup. I like Spasov more than I like Sasko, which is one of the big reasons I let Sasko go. On the outs, the only person who left at the end of last season was Darko Popovsky. He went on loan to Pobeda. So this season, before we look at these guys, we'll look the released players. I released quite a bit. Ardat Alazi, David Basevsky, Kiri Stoyanov, Dejan Ivanov, Jordan Vaj, Marjan Ristov, Sasko Ivanov, Latko Jovansky, Jovan Namsevsky, Hristian Kolev, Klevis Skinderi, Milan Stoimenov, Daniel Iliev, Blagoya Vodjneski, and Kristan Janiev all left on freeze. All the ones with a year and letter after their name were youth players who came in through the youth intake and they just didn't turn out. About the only one I was really unsure of letting go was Jordan Vaj. 2.5-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. But he was 23 years old. He hadn't really gotten any better. And frankly, he was a yellow card machine while he was here. Both him and Andonovsky. Now, he was still a good defensive center back for us and a good defensive mid, and he could play midfielder in a pinch. But I thought I had better options. The free transfers in, Igor Markovsky comes to us from Grazia AK. They were an Austrian squad. Defensive mid, defensive center back, 2-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, 22 years old. Physically, his acceleration and agility are a bit lacking, but everything else is nice. Mentally, he's pretty solid. The 3 off the ball is a bit concerning, but playing defensive mid, defensive center back, I'm not all that worried about it. Technically, he's weak. His marking is okay. His tackling is okay. Everything else is a bit subpar, including his heading. But he's here on a backup contract. He is a bench player, and he'll see a decent amount of time for us. Loan deals out for right now. It's just Alexander Mitrev. I kind of went back and forth on letting him go out on loan, and then I decided it was better for him to be a starter somewhere else than a somewhat off-the-bench player for us. And the cash and clause transfers on the outs. Sava Milovic. Sava went to Orid for 4.8 thousand. He was a youth player who was just not going to turn anything. And then David Tisevsky, Farul Constantia from the Romanian league, came in and made an offer for him that he absolutely jumped on. So 27 years old, he was a good pickup for us. We got him for 50,000 from Tumen. He played in Russia for a while. He had a really good season for us last season, 7 goals, 5 assists, 2 players of the match. Mostly in, he was not a spot starter, but an occasional starter. 22 starts, 9 off the bench. was really good for us in the cup matches, was really good for us in the Continental Cup positions. Fro Constantia made an offer for him, and not only did he jump at it, I jumped at it too because it was decent money for him. They originally came in at like 500,000. I got him up to 775. So the transfer window is still open. If we go and we look at the roster here, several teams have come in and made offers for Dimitrov. He has shown no interest in talking to them. If a team comes along, the same thing with Stamkov. If a team comes along and makes an offer and my guy's not interested in talking to him, I decline it. If he is interested in talking to him, what I'll do is what I did with Tasevsky. So if a team comes in as an example and makes an offer for $800,000, 800,000 euros for Dimitrov, I'll try and get them up to like 1.3, if not a little bit more. So we only had the Champions League actually started a couple weeks later than normal. So I did get in 2 friendlies, and then we had the Juline games and the St. Pat's games, and now we're playing Partizan. Away and home with Scoopy in between, kicking off the league. We're going to skip them. We're going to play Partizan. And then I believe, yeah, we play Shakhtar in the playoff if we beat Partizan. So I don't know. We'll see. Partizan's a really good squad. They're actually a team I've looked at doing a series on, like a youth development. So, and I like doing youth development saves. I like the scouting for youth players. I like bringing them in. I like developing them. You know, a team of youngsters that can go and win things. It seems a lot of the saves I do tend to go that direction. I'm not opposed to signing an older player. I just don't do it all that often. So, and a lot of the teams I do play, like I play Crystal Palace as a personal save almost every FM. If I don't do them for the beta, I do them as a personal save because they're the Premier League team I follow. When my dad was stationed in England when I was younger, I saw them on TV and I liked what I saw. I don't know how I saw them because they were in Division 2 at the time. It may have been an FA Cup game. I'd have to go back and look, to be 100% honest with you, and I've been a fan of them ever since. I don't know why, can't explain it, but they're the Premier League team I follow. I'm nowhere near as knowledgeable about them as I could be or probably should be, but they have a philosophy that they don't like signing players older than a certain age, and more often than not, I tend to go for youth players. I go out and I scout, and wow. So he likes Getafe. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to cancel the Elche one. We're going to go here, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to bump this up to 750. We're going to give them multiple payments. And bump that up to 500 for 1.3. And then I'm going to get rid of this. And we're going to keep the friendly. And we're going to suggest the terms. And they like it. Okay. Now, it's possible I am underselling him. But I also think, even if I add on a clause where I get 20% of any sale, it's not going to be a lot of money. I think the issue we're running into is the players we have are top of the Macedonian League. In the grand scheme of things, I mean, as a club right now, we're ranked 69th. We went up 8 spots. So, I mean, we're up there, but we're not up there. And it's going to be difficult. I mean, like, as an example, you know, I can show you this real quick before we go do the team thing. If we look at Milan Vardar, who was a very good player for us, probably one of the better forwards in the Macedonian League. He went to Astoro, who were a Portuguese side, and he had an okay first season. He was on their B squad for most of the season last year, and then he started 14 games and had 1 goal. So I sold him for 230,000 euros. Even if I have a sell-on clause, I doubt they're going to be selling him for what they paid for him. He might move for 50, 40, 30. And at this point, 20% of 50, while it's a little bit of something, it's not enough. I mean, I hate to say this out loud, but we really don't need it. We're doing really well money-wise. So we do have some, you know what, let me take this off real quick. I do have some injuries. Bosnowski suspended. Novevsky broke his arm. And I didn't have the option to play him with protective equipment. It was see the physio, see the doctor, see a specialist. So, you know, it is what it is there. Todorov's injured, but he will be back in about a week. So Jankelov's a fitness thing, so we'll put him on the bench. Dimitrov, even though he's been bid on, we'll start him at poacher. Boz. Marati's a fitness. We'll put him on the bench. Stamkov, I'm going to put here at center back, but it's quite possible he could be moving. Markowski will put on the bench for now. Gabriel actually got playing time in one of the Champions Cup games. I'm not upset about it per se, but we're going to put Basevsky up top there. We're going to play Demi at advanced mid on the right. David Oski goes to deep line playmaker. I would play, you know what? I would play Mitev at defensive right back. It's just he can't cross worth a darn. So for the moment, we'll put him at defensive center back. Spasov stay out. Tasevsky, he's out for another 3 to 6 weeks. Skandari will put on the bench. Babish will start at right. Garcia Moreno will start at left. Pandev will start at Mazzola, although he likes to be a center mid, doesn't he? No, he likes to be a Mazzola. Okay. Grostowski goes in goal. So I've got 3 more spots I have to cover. So Volkovsky will be one of them. Charlabas will be the other. You know what? I'll put Spasov on the bench just in case. I usually don't put a goalie on the bench, but this time I will. Shorter passing, play defense. Box, hard tempo. That. Check my set pieces out here. We'll be back in just a second. Partizan's definitely the better squad. But I also think it depends on which Partizan we get. Do we get their A squad or their B squad? If we get their A squad, it's going to be really, really tough. If we get their B squad, we have a chance. But I don't know. Pavlovich gets the ball off the bad pass. Milivojevic out to Dosin. Dosin one-on-one, and he puts it far post. That is not what we wanted 4 minutes into the game. Vlahovic, Kovacevic to Vlahovic. Some of these names I know I'm not going to pronounce. Radanovic, Daviljevic, Vlahovic, Milivanovic, Radovanovic. They're moving the ball really well. Pavlovic, to Kovacevic, Vlahovic, Radanovic, Milivanovic. Dosin got by the defenders, and he absolutely buries it into the stands. Corner kick. Pavlovich sends it in. What happened there? I thought Grostowski had that. What happened there? He blocked it and it went right to Dosin. That's poor luck. We haven't had a shot at all. Kovacevic, Pavlovic, Vlahovic, Milivanovic to Pavlovic to Milivanovic. Evades the tackle. Back to Radanovic. Out to Dosin. Chests it down. And he again pushes it high right. We've had one shot. Now we've had 3. We're going to half, freaking 2 down. They are absolutely dominating us. Kovacevic, Vlahovic, all the way back to Popovich. Kuka, Dosin, Kuka, Pavlovic. Radanovic gets it to Dosin, one-on-one with Grozdanovsky again. And he's fouled by Babic. Jiminy. And he gets a yellow card. Dosin, Grozdanovsky blocked it. Dosin follows it up, and Grozdanovsky picks it up. Everybody's having a poor game. 60 minutes in. I'm going to make some changes, but I don't know that they're going to do any good. We'll get Babic off, bring on Jankel off. We'll get Moreno off. We're going to bring on Charlabas, but we're going to switch him and Stankov. We're going to switch Abaz and Pandev, and then we're going to bring Murati on at the Mazzala. Kovacevic. Radanovic. Kovacevic. Gets by the defender, gets to Radanovic. Vlahovic crosses it in. Milovanovic is there and heads it in for the goal. Wow. They're absolutely dominating us. Jankelov to Pasevsky. Back to Jankelov. Up to Demi. Demi crosses it in. Pandev is there. A weak shot right at Popovich. And at least we got an offensive highlight. Ooh, another one. Pandev all alone out on the left. And he's dispossessed. Dimitrov picks it up. Murati holds it up. Stamkov. Stamkov. Davidovsky. Davidovsky takes a shot, but he skies it over the crossbar. He was way offsides. Well, we had 12 shots, 6 on target. Our XG was 1.45. We got nothing. They had 23 and 16. They got 3. Their XG was 3.6. That was annoying. They moved the ball really, really well. Holy cow. And Morena's out because he reached the yellow cards limit. Remember, if we lose, we qualify for the playoff. Okay. So we're going to play Scoopy offline and then come back for Partizan at home. Hopefully we'll give them a better game back in just a bit. Well, we beat Scoopy. It wasn't the best game. A 2-1 victory with a goal in the 81st minute from Konstantin Pandev to secure it. The team was a bit hit and miss. The guys that were on, and the guys that weren't. Grozdanovsky was average, but average from him is actually pretty good for us. So we're playing Partizan at home today. Yeah, I got to make a couple of changes here. Gabriel on the bench. I want to avoid playing him for as long as I can. We'll put Jovanov. I just had him. Jovanov on and Charlabas. So it's not our strongest squad. We've got some injuries we're trying to work through. Jankelov being not exactly match fit kind of hurts us. But Stamkov also played in the last game, so he's not fit for the match. Tasevsky is still out injured. He's who I'd be playing if he wasn't injured. I've made an offer for Georgi Boznovsky. He was a youth player in the Hanover squad who's on their B squad. He can play all 3 positions. He plays left back really well. So I'm awaiting his contract approval. If I do get him, he's going to be the highest paid player on the team. I'm not sure I'm a fan of that, but at the same time, I need more depth on the defensive back line. So this is who we got today. Grozdanowski in goal. Jankelov, Markovsky, Bozanovsky, and Midhev is the defensive back four. Pandev and Davidovsky as the midfielders. Abaz and Demi as the attacking mids. Dimitrov and Basevsky up top as the strikers. Yeah, see, Todorov and Novevsky are both injured, which means I've got 18-year-old Bojan Amanovic on the bench. Let's at least make him earn it. Pavlovich sends it in. Demi knocks it away, but good grief. Davij-Levic, Radanovic to Pavlovich. Vlahovic hits over the crossbar. Vlahovic, I think it's Vlahovic. The Karen, is it a Karen? Over the C makes it. Jankelov on the throw-in. Pandev heads it back to Jankelov. He gets up to the field of Abaz, back to Pandev. He centers it to Davidovsky. He tries lofting it forward, but Kovacevic intercepts it. Terzic, Dakovic to Dosin. Long pass towards Vlahovic. Nice first touch. He breaks right, cuts it back inside, centers it to Pavlovich. He gets it back out to Radanovic. Pavlovich. Milovanovic, Dosin's there, and he hits the post. Bozanovsky heads it down, but goes right to Partizan. Vinovich, Davidovic to Pakuka. Davij-Levic, Davij-Jevic. Pakuka just bombs it forward too far. Grozdanowski picks it up. Defense resets itself. Bozanovsky over to Mitev. Mitev up to Demi. Demi sends it inside to Bozanovsky, or Basevsky rather. Basevsky to Pandev, got by the defenders, and he hits the post. Oh, he hit it and he just stood there. He didn't follow it up. And they score off the set piece. Milovanovic. Oh, man. The game did not look like it was recording that well. It looked like it was skipping, and I don't know why. I haven't changed anything on it. I gotta take a pause off. Bring Skinderi. I did not want to do that. Undo. We want to bring Skinderi on. Pandev's gas too, but don't really have much of a choice. Davij-Levic pushes up to Pavlovich. Pavlovic. Davidovic. Dosin takes the shot and he puts it far post. It just shows how far we have to go, or B, what our limitations are. Partizan's a good squad. I would bet they're almost entirely homegrown. Kovacevic, Pavlovich, Vavic kicks it too far. Grozdanowski heads back and forth. Dimitrov to Basevsky. Basevsky back to Davidovsky. Basevsky out to Demi. Demi drops it off to Davidovsky. He bombs it out towards Skinderi. Skinderi holds it up. Pandev. Pandev to Jankelov. Takes the shot off the post. Oh, what are all these woodwork hits? I gotta get Pandev off. And we'll bring on Maradi. Jankelov's actually doing okay. Davidovsky's not, though, and I don't really have any replacements for him. Davidovsky's gonna have to stay on. How is he not offsides? He was, okay. Was a good set piece, but he was offsides. Mitev's on a 6-2. Demi's on a 6-3. Basevsky's on a 6-3. Midhev on a throw-in. Demi back to Mitev. Davidovsky gives the ball away. Terzic to Dosin. Dosin feeds Dakovic. And Grozdanowski comes and picks up Rasek. Couldn't get there in time. Wills it out to Bozanovsky. To Mitev. Up the field, Demi. Demi feeds Basevsky. Basevsky back to Maradi. Maradi tries passing it up in space, but was too far. Popovic just bombs it forward. Jankelov picks it up, centers it to Bozanovsky. Davidovsky out to Demi. Nice first touch, gives it to Posevsky. Posevsky back to Davidovsky. Out to Demi. Demi to Midov on the right. Run up to Demi. Posevsky's there. Nice save by the Partizan keeper, Popovic. Trilinov to Dakovic. Raul. Terzic. Okay, I think I found the one non-Croatian player. Grozdanovsky, a very nice save against Dosen. Pavlovic. Markovsky knocks it away. Now I got to get Davidovsky off. Bring Markovsky up, and we'll bring on Charla. We'll bring on Charlabus. Popovic just bombs it forward. Bozanovsky heads it down to Skanderi. Drops it off to Maradi, up to Dimitrov. Skanderi. Davidovsky out towards Jankelov. Jankelov gets to Maradi. Maradi to Dimitrov, and Dimitrov scores. We break up the clean sheet. Some nice ball movement. Jankelov finding Dimitrov was very nice. Kovacevic, Tavljevic, Kovacevic, Pavlovic. Ball's intercepted by Skanderi. Gets it to Maradi, Markovsky, Dimitrov back to Markovsky, up to Skanderi, who broke free one-on-one with the keeper, rounds him, and he puts it away for the second goal. Too little, too late. Nice job by Markovsky getting to Skanderi, who ran behind the defenders. Then he just rounds the keeper, puts it away as neat as you please. As the commentary says, a very simple finish. If I didn't know any better, I'd say Partizan was slacking because they know they have the game won. And they do. They went 5-2 on aggregate. This is one of the tipping points I was talking about last season, where we're good enough, but are we hitting a ceiling because we just don't have enough quality in the North Macedonian talent pool? Boz is out with a tight knee. We get Dundalk Strata, who I'm almost positive we've played before. Yeah, we have. They beat us on aggregate a couple years ago. It's hard to believe our second season here was the one where we did the best. We got to the Euro Cup first knockout round. Partizan absolutely destroyed us here. So when are we playing Dundalk Strata? We're playing them on the 17th. Which is literally in a week. So we got Skandija, and then we got Dundalk Strata. I may come back for those tonight. I may not. We'll have to see. Probably not. But I'll at least play the Skandija game offline. So we'll see how that goes. Man, that first match, we should have done so much better. We still aren't drawing big crowds at home, too. That's annoying. We set a new attendance record last year, apparently, and our attendance was 9,000 something. So the issue I'm running into now is, I'm searching by Macedonian nationality. It's 15 to 39. These are all the Macedonian players, and the ones at the top are the good ones, the very good ones. Arben Marami is going to be great. Dejan Kulusevski, everybody knows about him. He's playing at Villarreal. Elishev Elmas is playing at RB Leipzig. Boban Tisevsky we all know about because he just left us. Arden Jashari. Okay, Arden Jashari was listed. And I said, hey, come play for us. Because he's a really good midfielder. And he was 700,000 pounds. I would have paid his 6,000. He was 700,000 euros. I would have paid his 6,000 euro salary. He has no desire to come to Vardar because we're not a big enough team. And it's the same with some of these other players. Um, the really good ones are the ones that have the potential to be good. They don't want to come here. Dashmir Alizi ended up at Angers. Darko Churlinov, so he's at Partizan, but he wouldn't be. As an example, transfer. Ask agent about availability. He doesn't want to sign under any circumstances, even though we could afford him and they see him as a fringe player. He doesn't want to come to Vardar and be. I would start him at advanced midfielder on the left. Or if we go, if I organize it by some of the older players here. We talked about Elmas. Then Marion went to Sivaspor. I just, I knew this going into the save. I just thought the issue is developing them, especially some of the youngsters that have potential. I mean, if I sort by potential here, Novolovsky's 4.5 stars, Davidovsky is 4.5 stars, Charlabuski is 4.5 stars, Stamkos 4 stars. I've got players who are showing up as unavailable. All these youngsters are 4.5, 5 stars. A lot of my older players are 4-star, but current ability, and if not higher. I would bet our starting 11 is the best in North Macedonia. We know that. We've gone invincible. We know that. We've gone invincible twice. We've won the league 6 years in a row. I would bet our second 11 is as good as probably the lower half of the table's starting 11 in most cases. It's just, I do have some players with some weaknesses. As much as I like Edison Skandari and his development, his weaknesses are just too pronounced for me. The lack of concentration, the lack of determination, his positioning is bad. His teamwork is bad. Yes, he's fast. Yes, he's agile. Yes, he's pacey. It doesn't make up for the holes in his game. The other thing is going to be holding on to players. Now, the player to keep an eye on the next couple of seasons, believe it or not, is not Carlos Gabriel. It's, where did he go? It's Giannakis Charlabus. Because in 917 days, he should qualify for North Macedonian citizenship. So as long as he's under 18 and on the under 18 squad, he can play in senior games. But look at Carlos right now. He's 3-star current, 5-star potential. If I start playing him now, other teams are going to notice him, and they're going to snap him up. I'm not going to be able to hold on to him long term. The club's not going to get to a point where he's going to want to stay. He's going to want to move on to bigger and better. That's just the way it is. So it's a balancing act. But we've reached, I firmly believe we've reached that tipping point where unless something happens with injuries, we're going to win the league every year. It's a matter of how far do we go in the Champions League, in the European leagues. And right now, we can't get past Partizan. And Partizan's a good club. They're well known. They've got good facilities, excellent academy coaching, exceptional youth recruitment, superb youth facilities, excellent training facilities. The players are head and shoulders above us. Their youth team, this is their B squad, for crying out loud. And what you're looking for is the lack of red. This is the under 19s. I haven't scouted them out, but for crying out loud, they're the 3 guys I can see. They're already 14-20, 14-20. Is this guy Macedonian? Montenegrin. Jeez. So, and they're a big squad. They've been first in the Serbian Super League maybe we'll look at the, go back to last season. They won it last season. They won it the year before. Second, first. This was the year Kukurichi won it. So, the key is European football going forward. We have to make a run, and we got to get lucky. That's all it boils down to. I mean, we got lucky our second season when we got all the way to the Euro Cup first knockout round stage, and I think it's frustrating. That's the farthest we've gone. We got the first knockout round against Lille in the Euro Cup 2 last year. Euro Cup 2 first knockout round. Slavia Prague beat us, but that's because they had a great first game. We didn't get out of the group stage here. First knockout round of the Euro Cup there. You know, maybe we've reached our limits. I don't know. So, it's late. I'm melancholy. I probably shouldn't be. We've had a good couple of seasons. We've got a good team. We've got good chance against Dundalk Strata. And then it's bossing the rest of the league and doing it again. You know, money-wise, we're sitting really nice. I've got a decent scouting budget. I've got a ton of payroll to play with. I've got a ton of transfer budget to play with. I just can't spend it. You know, you just can't spend it. The under-18 squad is doing really well as well. Ton of potential here. I have to develop them. So far, that's still going. Yeah, interesting episode. I'm sorry, I've been rambling. So all that said, if you have liked what you've seen or heard, please like, subscribe to the channel. Questions, criticisms, comments, leave those down below. I will answer them as fast as I can. My name is FM22. And thank you for watching.